And we're live.
Yay!
We're live.
Yeah, we actually had some people chilling in chat, but I'm just going to quickly retweet to our masses.
Yeah, we gotta let them know.
Masses. Yeah, gotta let everyone know. Apparently, people were kind of excited.
Yes, I like that the background here is people getting stomped.
You know what the other background was? Wait, can you show them the other background? Let us know what you think between the two backgrounds.
Oh, you mean the Aaron one?
Yep.
This one? Yeah. Well, you can barely see it because the three of us are covering it.
Oh, that was the teaser that was released.
Yeah. Yo, what do you think of the teaser? I've seen some mixed thoughts on it.
Just the image?
Yeah.
I didn't even really look at it. I'm just so upset. I don't even know how much I'm going to watch of the second part.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, because I was actually going to ask you. That's like a good way to kind of start. Is like, are you excited for the anime, or is it just kind of like you're just kind of trying to cut your losses and like move on?
Yeah, it's like, when something terrible happens and you repress the memory and it's like you don't remember it. That's sort of how I feel. And so I think that inevitably, with my channel, a lot of people like the Attack on Titan stuff that I talk about too. So I think inevitably I will have to maybe do the last 2 or the last 3 episodes, maybe reaction or talk about it or something. But I'm certainly not looking forward to it. Like, who wants to see animated simp Aaron? Like, who's looking forward to this?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, I think we can get into it, but I think let's wait for a few more people to get in. Save the deep Attack on Titan conversation.
Yes, okay.
We got really getting a bit ahead of ourselves because of our background.
Yeah. Let's see. We got a few people on. We got a comment already saying, I value the journey better than the ending, so we'll keep that one in mind.
Keep that in our pocket.
That's a good point.
Okay, yeah, that's a good thing to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could just jump into it. Do you want to just?
Yep. Let's
just jump right into it.
Let's just jump right into it. So
all right, we'll jump right into it.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Just Weebs podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Shocking, and we're here to talk about possibly our biggest topic yet. We are talking about Attack on Titan, the manga ending, Attack on Titan Requiem, and a bit of Attack on Titan Season 4, Part 2. I think we're going to call it that. And we have a really special guest today, so I'm going to introduce everyone. I'm my co-host, Onimaru. How are you doing today?
Hey guys, I am excited to talk about this. Just freshly caught up to the manga just for this podcast. So
so you did a lot of binging over the past week. So I have no idea how you feel about it. So we're going to get into that. But first, I have to introduce our special guest, the King of Kino, Greg. How are you doing?
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. I'm doing well.
So thank you for joining us. I've been looking forward to talking with you for a while because I've seen your reactions, especially just like you kind of got a bit viral. I don't know if you use Twitter, but I've seen.
I don't.
Oh, okay. Congrats. That's probably a good life choice. But your reactions have kind of gotten a bit viral on Twitter because you have such a charismatic, enigmatic presence. And so, when you say Kino, we really feel it deep in our bones. So I'm excited.
Well, I've heard that there's been a lot of people who have been hating on me as well. So is that what you're referring to? Or do people say nice things too?
No, you know what's funny? So I think for when your first video came out, I think it was a bit controversial because I think you did a good job of kind of representing how all of the Attack on Titan Requiem fans felt. So I think some of the people who liked Attack on Titan's ending, or at least didn't like Attack on Titan Requiem, kind of like made you their scapegoat. But at the same time, your reactions are so entertaining and so genuine that they couldn't really hate you because you were so like entertaining and fun to watch. So by the time your second video came out, I think everyone was genuinely just looking forward to your reactions. So you kind of rose above everything and now people are just excited to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it was. I had the idea. I was just like, I sort of wish I started earlier because it seemed like people like my reacting to the chapters. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to make a video for the final chapter, and I think I did one for I did do one for the second to last chapter, the penultimate chapter.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised when I saw the numbers come in. I was like, oh wow. And sort of came out of nowhere because when I did that video, I had like 700 subscribers or something.
Oh wow.
If that. I don't even know if it was that. And it's up to 3,000 something now.
Congrats.
But thank you. But it's I was surprised by that, but I think that people needed someone to be disappointed with.
Yeah.
And I did a live stream the day after the final chapter, and I just ranted for like an hour, and I had a lot of people in that live stream, and I think a lot of wounds were healed.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. I think it's interesting to think that the final chapter came out in April, and we're now in November. It's been like a good half a year, and I think people are still feeling just as up in arms as they were back then. I was kind of hoping things would calm down a bit, and I was with you. I was one of the monthly manga readers. I was kind of in the thick of it for like the last year, like reacting to everything on a week-to-week month-to-month basis. So I was, full of predictions, full of expectations, and I had some mixed thoughts, but we'll get into that later.
Well, I just want to say, speaking on what you said, it was the highlight of my month. Every month, I'm like, all right, it's December. In a few days, the chapter's going to be out. And it didn't disappoint for the most part. I remember when, can I say spoilers?
Yeah, this is everyone's warning. It's the spoiler talk, so go for it.
Okay, so when Aaron's head came off, that was like the longest month ever. Because I was so worried about my boy. I was like, oh my God, is he going to be okay? But anyway.
I'm so glad I'm caught up right now because I just know what that means and I don't have to worry about spoilers because during that whole time I was watching final season part 1 while that was airing, but everyone was talking about the manga and on Twitter it's just retweets and retweets of panels and I was just like avoiding looking at them. Plus it was a mixture of seeing your reaction gifs, so I knew what you looked like and sort of like all the reaction gifs going around, but I didn't know any of the context and now it's like, okay, now I know what this all means. So
well, where were you? What took you so long?
That's a good question.
I wanted to see it animated first. So I was just like, I want to just wait. Because it was final season. So it's like the best time to catch up to an anime is when it's confirmed you're going to finally get an ending. So I was like, I might as well wait. But, I held out and now I didn't. So
yeah, I've been bullying people into reading it. I tried to bully Onimaru because we were recording back in April. Like, I think we had a conversation on it. I was like, I couldn't even say anything because I'm like, the chapter came out. Like, that's all I can say. I can't say anything that would spoil it.
Well, it was so consistently well written that that's part of the shock of why it all fell off the rails. Like, how did this happen? Well, I mean, I have my theories, but we'll get into that.
Okay. Yeah. So we can kind of go, like you mentioned, you were starting reacting. So like, how did you start your channel? Like, what was kind of your goal when starting your channel and starting out?
Well, as we mentioned before this started, it's sort of all over the place, the channel. And I do travel videos.
Eclectic. It's good. It's good. It's, a lot of variety.
I mean, I feel like if I just did Attack on Titan videos only, I probably could get a lot more subscribers a lot quickly, but it's just, I don't want to only just do that. And so my channel, it was just supposed to be like a travel video channel. That's all I wanted to be. Oh,
that's cool.
And so we did a few travel videos and then it's like, oh, let's do video games. And we did some video game videos, which I still do video game videos. And then eventually somewhere along the line, so what I do is before I go to bed, almost every single night, I read manga on my phone. And I say manga because it's easier for me to say it that way.
Yeah,
manga is just too much work on the mouth. So I say manga. And so every night before bed, I read manga. And so eventually at some point, I started doing videos on manga. and I actually didn't watch anime for several years. I was manga only. But then, so yeah, so that's what happened. And then I don't know if you saw the video I made a while back of my ode to Eren, my ode to Chadron, I should say. And that was, I made that video right after he made his declaration of war. And that was my first Attack on Titan video. And then obviously I made a few since then, but that's sort of how it became, how I started doing anime videos was, it just sort of got into the mix. Because I do ghost videos too, which are also pretty popular. I get a lot of comments on those videos where all I do is I just watch ghost videos on YouTube and I use logic and common sense to either think if they're real or not. And sometimes they are. I believe in ghosts personally, but sometimes it's pretty obvious and people like, I don't know what they're doing, but they just don't see the obviousness of that. This is clearly not a ghost. And so I point it out and people think that's cool. And so anyway, the point is we do a lot of different things on the channel, and Attack on Titan, people just love that. And I used to love Attack on Titan too. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know how Attack on Titan is going to end yet, because the real ending is still coming out.
Do you mean the real ending? Oh, so you think like your team, Attack on Titan No Requiem is the real ending, or I wasn't sure if you were on the side of like, or like I wasn't sure if you were on the side that like the anime will change the ending in a way, and like.
Well, I've seen some of the arguments in the Reddits and things, and it's like, I really hope that they're right, but it's like the same people who say that Trump is going to be back in office in a month. You know, it's like QAnon equivalent. It's just not likely going to happen.
Q Attack on Titan. It's like the QAnon equivalent of that. That's kind of a good way of looking at it, because I don't think I've seen a series that has as many kind of multiple conspiracy theories and perspectives going on at once as Attack on Titan. It's very interesting to see how the community has shifted in different ways.
Well, it's people can't accept what's happened, and so they're like, well, maybe the anime will have a different ending. It's like they're coping. It's like when I saw Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull in 2008. For a while, I was like, yeah, that was good. That was good. I liked that. And it took me like a year or two to be like, oh, what have they done? And then I just had to heal. Because it was truly terrible. And so that's more, I think, for people who are like still defending the ending. It's like that's the equivalent. Because nobody can truly really like it. I mean, I just don't believe it.
I have seen some people who really like it. Do you think that
I think they're coping?
You think they're coping? Okay.
Yeah,
I think, it's interesting because I was thinking about what you said, because I rewatched your video, like your first reaction to 139, which was interesting because you didn't really have like a strong reaction then. Like I could tell you were disappointed, but it was half because I think like your predictions were off, and then half you're like, I need to let this settle in. And obviously I think you were way more disappointed than you let on. But it was interesting to see, like, back then, it's like you could have gone either way on the disappointment scale. But you mentioned something afterwards that you're like, I don't think anyone genuinely likes this ending. And I had the feeling that, like, when 139 was going to come around, I was like, it's either going to be, like, the best ending that everyone loves, or everyone's going to hate it. Like, there's no room for a middle ground. Do you kind of agree where, like, it was in that kind of situation?
Yes, I think so. And by the way, I just want to tell you that in that video, it's like you could actually see depression on me. I was legitimately the next day depressed, like I slept all day. Like I was so sad. And I sort of regret I made an edit in that video where I just sort of stared for like a minute into space. And I took that out because, you know, you don't want to have dead space there and nothing happening for a minute. But I wish I would have kept it in, because you could truly see me just like shell shocked over what had happened. And I think a lot of people had that reaction. But yeah, that was just terrible. But I think you're right that people were either going to love it or hate it. But yeah, even I feel like the people who say they like it were like, oh, Eren Mikasa shippers or
Mhm.
Mikasa shippers. And even if you were, like, it didn't end up like she held his head and then buried his head and got with Jean. Listen, I pronounce things the way I want, okay?
No,
So,
you're pronouncing. You don't. I'm the queen of mispronouncing everything. So I'm like, this is my culture. But you're pronouncing everything correctly right now. So don't
Yeah.
worry about it.
well, and then the Eldians all got destroyed. So anyone who was like, yeah, the Alliance is doing the right thing, also got BTFO'd. So, you know.
Yeah, it was an interesting space to be in. I've seen some people who like the ending who aren't just Eren Mikasa shippers. I've seen some people who genuinely think it's like, I think the thing I've heard is, yeah, it could have been executed a bit better, but they like the ideas behind it. And then some people say that they just like how it ended. I have seen that. I don't.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't believe them.
I
I mean, I think that they probably believe that themselves, but it's
Mhm.
like with me and Indiana Jones, give them a
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
and I think they'll probably come to a different conclusion. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we're in full blown like ending talk at this point. So
Yeah, we are. So, Onimar, I have no idea how you felt about the ending because you just caught up probably today. So,
yeah,
how did you feel?
I finished it last night. I mean, I gotta say, it took some processing. I had to process afterward.
You sent me just randomly. You know the one what was the one? It's the Armin panel where he says, Eren, thank you for becoming a mass murderer for our sake. He just sent that to me like out of context and was like, bruh.
Because I'm like reading it, and I just was just like, this is so surreal. I just didn't think that was like a line. But like, I don't know. At first, I thought it was really weird, like transitioning from 138 and then 139 being the way it was. Afterward, I thought about it, and I mean, I have to say, like, I feel like, and this is similar to kind of what you heard, I feel like the themes there were consistent with what was there in the show. The themes on paper, I could see what they were going for, but I just don't think it was executed the right way. I feel like it could have worked if it was set up for a longer time, or you kind of saw more ripples of that like earlier on. It just felt too condensed to work in the way that it was. I have a few other ideas of how it could have worked, but that's my general thought on the chapter.
well, there were. I made a prediction. I mean, I made a lot of wrong predictions, but I made a prediction way back when I made that Chattern video, and based on what I was seeing, I predicted that the rumbling wouldn't succeed.
Yeah.
But sort of as the story goes on, really, I wanted the rumbling to succeed because I knew it was the right thing to do, strategically, maybe not morally, but strategically. Yeah. And also, it would have made for a great story, which is really all I wanted, was for the story to end in a great way. Eren didn't necessarily have to win for that to happen. But what did happen was just, I mean, so much of it doesn't make sense. And one thing that gets me so upset is Eren's father turning against Eren and all the Eldians. Like, what? He gave his life for the Eldians, and all of a sudden he just has like a moral dilemma and he's going to help Armin. Like, that's ridiculous.
Was he helping like Zeke in that? Because I think like Zeke was kind of begging him. I think I've seen some people who had a lot of issues. I think like people started having issues with like 137 when Zeke they felt like it was kind of like the way I've heard it described. Because I don't necessarily agree, but they said like they kind of felt like it was like a power friendship moment where they like summon their friends and then they all help out and like they take down, the Eren Titans and like their friend Titans.
Well, you know who I think we can actually blame for this is Marvel. I legitimately think Isayama was trying to be like, make Attack on Titan into the Avengers at the end. Like, Avengers Endgame, like, everybody's back and everybody's fighting.
Yeah, because I did see those comments going around that he really was inspired by the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 ending. So you're not like far off. I heard that he was inspired by that. So, I mean, I could see that in some way, but you mentioned before you had like, what were your big predictions? Because I was really curious since you've been following this for so long. Like, I had my predictions. What were your general predictions like leading up?
Well, I made a video. It was called like my last cope, my final cope or something. I don't know if you saw that video.
Yeah.
And I actually think that even after 138, if he would have done that as an ending, it's still, even though it was my idea, I think still as a story, it would have been a really good ending and it would have worked. Where, because the whole thing of what was the Titan that the power he took? I don't even see it. This has all been repressed.
Yeah. The one that Aaron took,
yeah, from Marley with the face.
Oh, the Warhammer Titan.
Yes, with the Warhammer Titan.
Yeah.
When he took that power, we never saw him use the whole like going somewhere else and having the Titan.
Oh yeah,
thing.
I've seen this one where he's actually
and a lot of people speculated that, oh well, maybe he's not actually there and he's controlling it from somewhere else. And I mean, that would have been cool to see. And I was, well, he never used the Warhammer powers. And people were like, oh, well, he did to get out of the jail. And it's like, well, then it wasn't even really that important to bring into the story at all. Like, what was the point of him getting the Warhammer Titan power if he's just barely going to use it? It just didn't even add anything to the story. So I really thought that because that sort of hole was left open, that it would be used in the final chapter. And the other thing, to me, the biggest piece of evidence that this story was changed from Isayama's original ending that he wanted to do is the conversation with Historia. Like there's no purpose for it to exist. And it sort of leaves off on a cliffhanger. And the implication is there that the conversation is going to come back when she's like, what would you think if I had a baby? And then the conversation ends. And I could see it from the other perspectives being like, oh, well, it's all just set up because she did have a baby and that was their plan and blah, blah, blah. But the implication seems to be there that the conversation is going to come back, and it never does. And Historia serves no purpose whatsoever. I mean, okay, yes, I know she serves a purpose for Aaron and Zeke having their plan, or Aaron's plan, but it's just like I was not an EH shipper, but I was in the sense that I felt it would be a much better story if that's how it turned out.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because you kind of thought the idea of like Aaron and Historia having a baby was like that aspect, even if you're not like, oh, I'm here for the shipping, you thought the narrative aspect was a bit more interesting.
Yeah, and I loved the idea that Aaron would sacrifice the whole world for his offspring, not even for Historia, because I think that if it would have turned out that way, and maybe an ANR, I mean, we'll see how they do it, but obviously that's where it's going. But I think he didn't necessarily love her. He used her, and maybe he did have a part of him that wanted to do this for his offspring. Because I actually did a lot of looking into this. And sorry, I'm just sort of diarrheaing out here. But I don't know if you remember this whole thing where they're like, this is going to be the last panel. And someone holding a baby. And then all of a sudden it wasn't the last panel. And people saying, oh, well, he never said that. And I sort of was like, I tried to get to the bottom of it. And he did say that. And so I feel like what happened is he said that and he knew that people were going to call him out on that. So he had to put that image in the final chapter so that he can be like, oh, well, I didn't say it was the final page. I said it was going to be in the final chapter. As it is right now, that image has no reason to exist at all in that chapter other than to fulfill the prophecy.
So you felt like there was definitely some kind of changing going on, and it was just kind of like, you know, do you think like I see that too? Because I remember when everyone was saying like this is the last panel, like that had been in the talks I think for like 5 years, maybe more. Like we've always seen that one of like the person holding a baby, so everyone was able to speculate that like, you know, oh, that's Aaron holding his baby. Like that kind of led the whole prediction. And I mean, I'm with you. Like, that's definitely what he said. And I think it's totally fair game to change that. But I think in a weird way, I think the fact that he did include that shows that he was kind of like, there's definitely a lot of pressure going on. And I could see him trying to stick true to like what he promised. And then also, I think, I'm not sure if anything changed. Like, I think something did change a bit because of some of the interviews you hear with like, you know, him talking about how like the story got so big. So he felt like people have speculated that he couldn't have like a very serious negative message or negative way to leave off. So I can see there being some changes, even if it's not confirmed, but I could understand that based on what's been discussed.
Well, let me tell you my big conspiracy, and this is probably false, and I'm probably getting into the queue.
The queue of
Attack on Titan, the ANR conspiracy theorists, but I think that like who is writing ANR? And I will say it's like phenomenally well written. And I was thinking, what if Isayama secretly wrote it? I would not be surprised. What if he was like, well, the publication made me do this stupid ending, and this is not what I wanted, and so I'm going to get some people, and I'm going to write what I really wanted the ending to be. And so that's my conspiracy, is that Isayama is the author.
That's so funny.
ANR.
I love that. That's a good conspiracy theory. I don't think it's true, but I like it. Like, I like the idea of this as like he's doing the secret ending behind the scenes.
Yes.
That's a good. Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, just it's funny. Like to think he'd be doing that, but you know, he's most likely not. I think like his last attempt to try to do something, because I did hear he was lamenting the negative reaction over the last chapter, so he added the last few pages for 139.5, which I did read, and you know,
yeah,
it didn't really make much of a difference to me. But by the way, Greg, did you watch Code Geass?
No.
Oh, you did? Okay. Because I was going to mention the last chapter kind of felt like they were pulling like a Code Geass
I've seen that
ending type of thing.
Yeah.
But it just didn't work the same way.
Yeah, I would recommend Code Geass if you're interested, because I don't think you'll be like.
Is this Lelouch or Lelouch or whatever it is?
Yeah. Lelouch.
Okay, I've heard about. I know the general what happened with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I think you would like it a lot, especially based on our conversation. I don't want to spoil it, so based on this entire conversation, I would recommend it. But yeah, I think that's interesting too, because
I'm sorry, I don't want to interrupt you, but I just before I forget, I have to say the last 8 pages I loved, because my whole thing was, and I don't know if you saw the video, I did a video on these 8 pages. Yep. I like wrote it down. I was like, this is the formula that Isayama came up with. Is if Eren doesn't destroy the world will destroy Eldia. And that's what happened. And I was so happy to see that, because all these alliance people were like, oh yes, it's the morally right thing to do. And you know, I think that's one of the interesting things, is the moral questions that were raised. But as a Yeagerist myself, God, why am I blanking? Eren and what's his name? The Chad that I'm supposed to be voicing in ANR. What is his name?
Are you going to voice someone in ANR?
Yes. I mean, I don't know. It's a long way off, but Flock. How can I forget his name?
Oh, you're going to be Flock? Oh my God.
Oh my God.
So, I mean, we'll see what happens. I actually, so for the anime, they had me sing part of a song.
That's amazing.
And I told them, I said, listen, and I think it's okay for me to say this, if not, whatever, it's too late. But I told them, if it's not that good, I'm not a professional singer.
Yeah.
Then, you know, don't use it. Don't feel like you have to use it. My feelings won't be hurt. But as of right now, I have a vocal part in one of the songs that they're producing for the ANR anime, but that's what I say, like, yes, I'm supposed to be voicing Flock, but there's a lot of time between when it's going to be produced, and then like I could die before then. Who knows? But
let's hope not.
Yeah, we hope not. But yeah. So as of right now, I'm supposed to be Flock, but like it's going to be a lot of work to put that together, and I can't even imagine the animators that are doing this. And you know, technically, I heard that the ANR that's out right now is the 2 chapters are considered part 1, and there's going to be 3 parts. So there's a lot left of that.
Oh, I had no idea. I thought it would be 3 chapters, kind of to replace 137, 38, and 39, but I had no idea it would be that long. That's really interesting.
Yeah, well, because the ones that are out now are considered 1 chapter. Yep. I think.
Yeah. Well,
but I'm really excited about ANR, because like it's just like, and it has nothing to do with what I wanted to happen. It's just like it's well written, and it's closing loopholes in the story that canon did not. And it also made, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but in part 1 of ANR, they referenced the canon ending as like, you know, a possibility ending. So they sort of made it, they sort of like molded it into the story as being like, yes, the canon ending is over here, but it didn't really happen. It's kind of cool.
I actually missed that. I was just looking at that page too, where they said like, these are the possibilities, but this is the only one. Like, this is the true one. I kind of missed that though. That's a small detail that I didn't pick up on. So, I mean, that's really interesting. I'm excited that you're voicing someone in the Attack on Titan Requiem anime. That's like the coolest news. I mean, congrats on that. That's just an amazing feat on its own.
Well, yeah, Flock's got a couple lines, so I've been sort of trying to just do a deeper version of my voice and bring the Chad energy to it. Best boy Flock. So hopefully it'll work out and it'll be cool. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it sounds like it's turning into a musical.
Yeah.
With the singing.
That wouldn't be bad. Well, you know, they got a soundtrack, and I don't know if you've seen in my channel, my girlfriend Anne, she has like a music channel, and I sing in her channel sometimes.
Okay.
So they saw me singing in her channel. So
you do have a good voice. You're just being modest.
Well, I have an okay voice.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
That is modest for I have a good voice. So I will take that with a grain of salt, and then we'll check that out.
We'll see. Well, maybe they'll auto-tune me, and then I'll sound really good.
I wouldn't be surprised if it just ends up that you're doing the opening theme. You know,
like you're just the opening. You're carrying it.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat asked if we can ask you to give us a sneak peek of what it would sound like. I guess
of like a Flock voice, I think.
Oh, of a Flock voice? Well,
or maybe they mean you're singing. I don't know.
Well, I don't think I'm allowed to give away the song. I don't think.
No, not the song itself, but maybe the voice or.
Well, go to Anne's channel. It's Sweet Anne. You could see me. We did a video of the Count of Monte Cristo musical.
Oh,
There's
nice.
actually a musical for that story. Great story, great book. You should read it. But we covered one of the songs. So if you go to that channel, you could see me singing it, and you'll have a preview of my singing voice.
Oh, sorry. He elaborated. He said of Flock's voice.
Of
Flock's voice. Okay. Well, it's going to be me deeper. It's going to be like, Aaron, we have to. I'm in too jovial of a mood right now to be able, but it would be a deeper version of my voice, and it'd be like, I sort of one day I went into my closet where I record, and I was like, what did he say? That Aaron forgot what he was doing. It's like, what do you mean you forgot? What do you mean you don't know what we're doing here? So something like that. Like, what do you mean you don't know the reason of what we're fighting for?
That sounds good. I can see it.
So we'll see.
That sounds good.
I got to work on it.
That's exciting. Yeah, congrats. That's awesome.
Capturing the tone.
You're capturing the commanding presence of Flock.
Right. But right now, you know, it's like we're having a good time. We're talking. I got to really think about Eldia and its people and get into the spirit and the, you know, really energy of Flock. Chad King.
So are you a Flock stan? Like before you got cast as Flock, are you a Flock fan?
Yes. And I wasn't until Aaron's friends all became idiots and betrayed him. Because truly, in the canon version, like Flock's the only one who really cared. Even Aaron was just like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But Flock was like, no, we are saving the Eldian people. We are doing what we have to do. And he was the only one that really wanted to save his country. He was a hero for Eldia.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Well, let me ask you.
Yep.
Do you guys, were you pro 100% rumbling?
That's a good question. I think at some point I was in a similar boat to you where I was kind of like, it could be a very interesting ending if they actually just went full genocide where they're like, you know, they just take out the world and then they're the only ones left, especially when you compare that to the beginning where they thought they were the only surviving humans. And then it turns out they're the only surviving humans because they wiped out the rest of the world for their survival. But I knew that like throughout the series, they had been kind of planting the seeds of like, okay, this is bad. Like they had Hanji saying like genocide is bad. Like we can't do this. So I had a feeling that the Alliance was going to win. So I was interested to see how they were going to kind of change that up. So I think I was probably a bit more Team Alliance than Team Rumbling. But at the end of the day, I was team. I want a good story. So I could have gone either way depending on how it played out.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the similar boat. It's not like I was pro rumbling, but I did like what Aaron was kind of doing, how they were portraying him in like the first part of like I'll break it down by the first part of final season. So I liked everything they were doing there and all that setup. But just then later, kind of I don't know. I wasn't sure about the direction it sort of went, because then it kind of made him like, okay, he betrayed Zeke. Okay, that was fine. But then it also tried to make him at the end like suddenly he was like a martyr and he was like planning all this stuff all along to kind of help his friends. And I feel like that would have been better if that wasn't kind of just sprung on us on the last chapter, and maybe we got like an extra chapter with where we got caught up on like what Aaron's side was all along. Maybe kind of got his perspective then leading up to that. It would have been a smoother transition. I know that doesn't like directly answer your question, but that's
well,
kind
that's
of,
part
yeah.
of the problem is that everything before 139 with his flashbacks led to us believing that Aaron was who he said he was, or how he was portrayed to us. Like when he went to that hall and everybody was screaming, we have to kill Eldia, and he walked out. And even when he was crying to the Middle Eastern kid, I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
Like that didn't go against his character. It just all sort of lent to us believing, okay, he struggled, but he got to the point where he is now. And then all of a sudden, on the last chapter, Isayama wants to pull out the rug and say, just kidding. Aaron's still the crybaby boy he was all this time. And it just didn't make any sense. And the other thing I want to say that doesn't make any sense is the whole thing with Ymir. And it's like, what the hell are you talking about? That Ymir needed to see Mikasa cut off Aaron's head in order to free herself? Like, this is such a stretch that makes no sense whatsoever. And then, you know, my biggest disappointment is Wormcoon, which just didn't even get to say goodbye to him.
Yeah, the caterpillar thing at the end, that was like turning them all into Titans. Yeah.
And can I just say one more thing is that I haven't really discussed this on my channel, but I really feel like Mappa has not done a very good job with the anime.
Oh, that's interesting. So you think you're definitely more Team Wit than Mappa?
Oh, not even close. Like, it's like Mappa. I watched Jujutsu Kaisen after Attack on Titan, and I couldn't believe it was the same studio. I was like, this looks great. And it was just like the fight scenes were lacking. Everything was just so subpar compared to the first few seasons of Attack on Titan, which I would argue became so popular because it looked so good. You know, nothing looks better than Demon Slayer, I would say, but Attack on Titan was right there with how good it looked. Like when you think about when they took down the Colossal Titan, like I would argue that's probably the most exciting Attack on Titan was through the whole series.
When they took in season 3, or
yeah, when Armin took the power.
Yeah.
That all just looked so good, but then you look at Mappa's fight scenes, and they're just not so great.
Are you talking specifically about when they invaded Marley, or like with the Attack Titan sort of fighting the Warhammer, like that fight scene? Or
I would say all of it. None of it. It was not that the animation was so bad. It was just the choreography really lacked, in my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way, because I remember I recently rewatched like the whole series with my fiance, and I think my favorite part is definitely the return to Shigishima. I'm saying it wrong, but so that part of like season 3, part 2. And I think that like Colossal Titan looked kind of wonky in the CG there, but I can get what you mean. Like the strategy behind that fight scene is really interesting. And I think I still like Mappa's adaptation. I think they do a good job, even though they also have the CGI the CGI Titans. But I can see what you mean. It's definitely a different, like, jarring presentation. So it's definitely a lot different to get used to. But I could see like strengths and weaknesses with both.
Yeah, I definitely, I was fine with what Mappa did with the fights, especially the invasion of Marley. I feel like, you know, some people thought it was a step down with seeing the Attack Titan and like in that fight, but you know, I felt like they still landed like his menacing kind of presence, sort of like how Aaron sort of used to look like in the Attack Titan versus how he looked like now. I thought that was really cool. So, and also the framing.
When Aaron first appears during the declaration, that was one scene I thought was particularly lacking through the whole season, because it really should have played like a horror movie, because it was terrifying when he came out there and he's pounding on the people. A lot of that was pulled back from the manga, where you see the kids above the window, and that's the first time that Aaron's killed an innocent person, and you're like, oh, he's crossed the Rubicon here. And it in the anime, it just sort of happened. Like, we didn't get any emotional impact out of that scene. Like, oh my god, like, I can't believe this is happening. And it should have really played out for a long time. That was actually in the first season of Attack on Titan. It was like there was so much internal dialogue and internal thought. It was just like, okay, come on, can we move on already? Like, in this scene, it really could have used it.
Yeah, that's a cool point. I like the idea of presenting it as like a horror film, like in a really like, kind of scary way, the same way we had the first episode of Attack on Titan, because the parallels are there for when like Reiner and I guess it's just the Colossal Titan at the time, like when they're breaching the walls, and then that's happening to Marley. Like, that's a very strong parallel. So if they, shot it in a very similar sense, I think that would have been really effective.
Yeah, I think so too. I think like I don't know. I was kind of okay with what Mappa did in the final season, but I know they had a ton of production issues, so we'll just have to see how it goes with the last part.
Yeah. And how Aaron put on his coat, like, what the heck was that?
Everyone was mad about the coat so much, especially everyone was mad with like showing the two, and they're like, he looks less hot. What are they doing?
He's like going like this. Like I made a video about putting on the coat. I don't know if you saw it, but it's not an easy thing to do. But it was just, he looks a lot cooler when he's going like this, and then they like made him go like that.
I remember that. That one's really funny. I remember seeing a lot of people being mad over that, and they were specifically like, he looks less hot and cool like this. I can't believe it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a funny time. It's funny to look back on. So are you not? We were kind of talking about this before we had the new PV in the background, but like, are you going to watch the next season of Attack on Titan, or are you going to try and kind of like cut your losses?
Yeah, probably. Like I said, I'll probably watch maybe the last 2 or 3 episodes and react to them, because I'll have some strong opinions about it, and I'll probably get really mad. I'm guessing people will want to see me get mad at it, but it's just like, it's like if I went, it's like reliving a horrible part of your life. Why would I want to do that?
Yeah.
Do you think
the ending was painful?
Do you think they could take the ending that they have already and like, if they could fix the ending, what would you say they needed to do to fix it while still staying true to the source material? Do you think that's possible?
Oh, that's tough. I think they would need, like someone was saying, I forget who, that another chapter. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hope that the ending has the extra 8 pages. I imagine it will, because and honestly, if you want to know the truth, like, everyone's like, oh, this is barren, and there's going to be an Attack on Titan sequel. I kind of hope there is a sequel. Mm-hmm. Because like, it would be barren like Boruto. It's like, well, how can you trust Isayama again after this? But I sort of would want to watch it for its train wreck quality. Part of me thinks that they changed the ending in order for there to be a sequel, but I guess we'll see if there is one. But
do you think, because of like the kid finding the tree, do you think that the kid is going to like rejuvenate the power of the Titans?
Right. Yeah. It sort of seems like there's some sort of implication there that him finding the tree is like Emir finding the tree, and maybe some sort of power will come back, which I guess it would basically be Attack on Titan modern day. Which would basically be like Godzilla, I guess.
I saw some. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I wasn't sure about like in that Eren kind of turning into the tree and kind of being the second coming of Ymir, or sort of being the one that kind of continues on the Titan powers. Like, why? Like, I don't know. I just wondered why was that a thing? Like, why did he kind of become that? Like, why do the Titan powers continue? I know there's no clear answer, but I was like, I thought like Ymir taking them away, like that's it. They're not going to come back. So
Well, I think this is Isayama's version of a Marvel after credits scene, and he may not have the answers himself right now.
Yeah, I mean, I do see the parallels. It does kind of feel like an after credit scene. I saw like some of the praises for the extra pages is saying that like, the Titan powers have ended and that Eren did succeed in giving Eldia more time to catch up with the rest of society, but that society kind of just moved on and became one by the end, because they show like things are being destroyed, but then they're being rebuilt. So I think there was the argument that like it's kind of like just continuing on as like normal society, not necessarily like oppressing some people and others. So I've seen that argument.
That seems kind of a reach because Eldia is in ruins.
Yeah, I think they're saying that Eldia as like a nation is over, but like it's become part of the rest of the world because there are no Titans. So like
yeah, but not if all the Eldians are dead though.
I think it's supposed to be over like 100 years though, because like after Mikasa dies and stuff, so it's like supposed to show like more time passing.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that seems like a reach to me, but who knows?
Yeah.
I guess if there's a sequel series, we'll find out.
Yeah.
Actually, it reminded me of Star Wars, where the episode 7, where the girl's going around the ruins, like that was the boy at the end.
Yeah. I've not been catching up with Star Wars, probably maybe for the best. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Don't bother. I watched episode 7. That's the only one I've seen, and that was not very good.
Okay. Yeah, I might take off on that one. Sorry.
We've got I think in regards to the tree thing, we got critical in the chat saying the tree represents the source of all life and is basically the entity that Ymir met that can be called a god or devil, and the Titans were a reflection of Ymir's deepest desires, if we are to believe it's the same kind of tree.
Yeah, that's why I think it might just show, I think it's supposed to show the passage of time and that like Eren succeeded in kind of giving them more time, but I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of hoping we don't get an Attack on Titan sequel. I hope we just kind of call it like it is what it is. So
yeah. Like my only theory, I guess, would be that how Ymir, her thing, at least in the last chapter, was that she was enslaved by love for like all those 2,000 years. Her love to King Fritz, and she finally broke free. Well, you could say that Eren was enslaved by by freedom, by wanting freedom so much.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what kind of keeps the cycle going.
Well, that was one of the aspects that I did like about canon, is that his whole thing is freedom, but arguably he is the most enslaved character because he knows the future and can't change it.
Mm-hmm.
So that irony I did enjoy. And that he's a super tragic character if you think about it, because he basically loses on every level in the canon version. So that's an interesting element, I guess.
Yeah, I did like the idea that Eren was kind of a slave to freedom. I think that was kind of evident. I'm not sure if you feel the same way, but for me, I think peak Eren was chapter 131. I think that's the one where you get the freedom panel. That's what I've been referring to.
Oh,
yes. Yeah. I think it was like kind of peak, like an Eren chapter, because it was showing the destruction of everyone, but like it was so interesting to show like, child Eren is like, he views the outside world and kind of reducing it back to its original state that he and Armin thought it would be. Like that's his freedom. And it shows such a twisted worldview. So I think that one is kind of like my favorite of Eren. And even from that chapter, I think you can tell that he had this like very, oppressive view of freedom, and how he was so stuck on his idea of trying to achieve freedom that it prevented him from achieving happiness. Well,
I don't think Kid Eren ever, it was explained why, at least in canon, in A&R they explained it, but correct me if I'm wrong, did they explain why Kid Eren was crying in chapter 1 in canon? I don't think they did.
They did. I think they explain it in 130. It's in 137, I think, or no, 138, because that's like the loop with him and Mikasa, where it's like, at the beginning of like chapter 1 where she's like, see you, Eren. And then it loops back with like 137 where she and Eren are in like that dream verse where they're like in their head and in paths, I guess. And that's like right before she kills him, I think. So he woke up crying from that. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that part. I'm doing a good job repressing this.
I just reread it. Otherwise, I probably would have forgotten. But I really like that about it, how it like tied back into that, because I think that was a really cool aspect. So that one stuck out to me. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see how Attack on Titan Requiem goes from here. Because do you have any idea of like where it's going?
I don't have any teasers or anything, or like insider information, but I suspect that it's going to be a not happy ending. Mm-hmm. I think that Armin's probably going to die. Probably everybody's going to die, and Eren's going to go back, and it's going to be like, this is what I was hoping with canon. It was going to be very bittersweet, to where Eren wins, he genocides everybody, but he is miserable himself. Mm-hmm. And so truly nobody's happy in the end. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah. What do you think would be like the major takeaway like from that message? Like, do you think it still has that message that like war is bad? Like we shouldn't be like, we shouldn't be hate each other just for like the sins of the past. Like, do you think it will carry on that message well, or do you think it will have a different like thematic message that will stick with people?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. It all depends on how Eren perceives it at the end, because ultimately I think that will be the takeaway, how Eren feels. Because it may just be sometimes you have to do bad things. I don't even know. I couldn't even guess. But we'll have to see. But I think it'll be whatever Eren walks away feeling will be like the lesson, I guess. Of that.
Okay. Do you think that like, based on canon, you don't really have like a strong lesson that you felt like it came away with?
For ANR?
No, the original like attack, like canon Attack on Titan.
The reason that I thought Eren was not going to win was because this whole thing of, and geez, I don't even remember all of it, but I remember that Gabby and Falco sort of broke the cycle of hatred, I guess. And it was like, oh, we were wrong to think that the other was evil. Like we had been brainwashed. Like the Eldians thought the other were bad. The Marleyans thought the Eldians were bad. Like the other is bad. And so Gabby and Falco were the two characters who were like, oh, we figured it out. We broke the code. And it's sort of, the message there was, to try and understand, like, it's been a while and it is repressed.
Yeah.
But because of that, I felt like the author would not abandon that whole sort of message, that lesson. And that's why I thought initially that Eren wasn't going to win. But I just didn't logically see how he could win or how he could lose unless he wanted to lose. And it turns out that he did want to lose in the end.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Onimar, I was wondering, since we kind of just talked about the ending, what did you think like leading up? Because you binged, like, I think essentially from where the anime left off, which is where like Reiner was invading until.
Yeah. I went from 117 to all the way to the end. I don't know. I thought it was very interesting. I thought it was like cool, like how the scale for things got just insane. And it was kind of exciting, but I was also sort of questioning, because I still was like along the way questioning how the ending was going to be and why it was so controversial. So. I was definitely enjoying it, but the things that did throw me for a loop, now that I'm like remembering it, were the kind of the surreal sort of dream sequences that were like kind of taking in, place in the present and in the past, and then Path was introduced, and then that was just now I'm like, okay, now I know what everyone was mentioning paths at the beginning of the year. Now I get what this is referring to. So I was down for it pretty much, like. To 136, even I was fine with 137 and 38. It's just like 139 was just jarring, but I know that's focusing back on the ending. I was fine with the journey. The journey was fun. So,
Yeah.
Well, I really wonder how many people who watch the anime don't know what the ending is going to be. Because if it's a lot, then it'll be fun to see the outcry when it happens.
Do you think that it will do you think that they will definitely just keep to like the way the manga is, and you think the outcry will be like just as strong as it was with the manga?
I don't think they're going to change anything personally.
Okay.
Maybe a little detail here and there, but I think we're heading to the same ending. And we'll have, like, I just imagine that, that famous panel where Aaron's crying and saying, I don't want Mikasa to be with anyone but me. Like, that's just going to be painful to watch animated.
Yeah, because he admits it like right at the end, when he's kind of pretty much dead. So, what did you think, Shah? How do you feel about the whole thing and the ending?
I remember I had to go back because I guess I don't know if I repressed it or if it was just the passage of time making it tough to remember, but I remember having like, I was actually like 137 and 138. I was like defending them because I thought they were really good. I knew one of my predictions that came true was that Mikasa was going to be the one to kill Eren. And then I was happy to see that kind of come true because I felt like that was a nice tragic way to wrap up their characters. And then I wasn't sure about 139. And then when I read it, I was like definitely in the same boat of I like a lot of the ideas, but they definitely needed more time to develop. But the one part of the ending I think everyone hopefully agrees was great is that Levi got a great send-off. And Levi was always one of my favorites. And I think the scene of him, when the Titans are being evaporated and he sees the spirits of all the fallen soldiers, like the commanders, everyone in the scouts, and he salutes them. And it's like the only time he's shown like outward emotion was really touching.
Yeah, I agree with that. The only one that kind of was like, well, the weird one was Historia's kind of story, how it ended by the end. Like, I don't know. I feel like they kind of really built her up in season 3 and then just like did nothing with her afterward. I know we touched on this earlier, so I don't want to like kind of rehash the same thing, but like, that was the plan. She was going to get, pregnant and kind of do all of that stuff. But then just by the ending, it was sort of like, okay, she's kind of like, she has her daughter, she's queen again. And that was kind of it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did my boy Zeke bad too. Well, I shouldn't say my boy, but I would have liked to see, I don't know, I wasn't a big fan of what happened to him. He deserved better.
I thought it was kind of funny though. Like, I just thought it was like,
I thought it was kind of fun.
Like, he just kind of came back and just died. Like, just Levi just decapitates him. Yeah. And I'm just like, did he just come back to just get killed? I was like, that's kind of funny. I like Zeke. I liked his character, but it's just the kind of the way it just sort of ended him. Like, okay, all right, he's gone.
He's out. I mean, I've been a bit of like, I liked Zeke, but I was, when Levi would be like, I gotta kill that monkey, I was like cheering him on, like, fucking go. So I think it was a good way to end though, in terms of like, Levi killed him, but was not satisfied with that conclusion. And it seems like Zeke was kind of content. And, I've seen some gripes about how Zeke was ended based on like what you guys have said. And I've heard it before, but I like when a character like gets revenge, but isn't really happy with it. So I was down with it, but I might just be, a bit petty on the, my boy won, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I was cool with it. I was fine with it. Because after that, like, what else was Zeke gonna do? So
he was building a lot of sandcastles. He was going to town, making the best sandcastles.
Like, he made his peace with Mr. Casaver. So
he did have the dumbest idea, I think, in history, which was to eradicate his own people. So,
yeah. When he was like, "We're gonna euthanize my people," I remember hearing that before I was reading. They're like, "Yeah, one character's goal is to euthanize everyone." I'm like, or I think, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting character goal, but it makes sense for him based on what he's been through. Yeah. So I was pretty okay with that. I think not too many gripes on that front. So good, good last couple chapters, at least for me. I was defending it on the front lines, but yeah, I mean, I was going to say all good things come to an end, but we're still going to be talking about Attack on Titan probably for another year, if not years. So
Yeah, it definitely gave me a lot to think about, and I feel like maybe the ending again might work better in an anime adaptation because they might be able to sort of maybe like more smoothly transition some things, kind of maybe integrate the eight pages and kind of like flesh it out a bit. So
Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm definitely going to watch at least the last 2 episodes, so I'll be there to see that. But I'm concerned about the conspiracy theorists, the anime original ending conspiracy theorists. What's going to be their next cope after this?
They might have to join the team Isayama wrote Attack on Titan Requiem. They might just have to jump conspiracy theories. Then
join my conspiracy theory that Isayama wrote ANR.
Yeah. That's like one of the best conspiracy theories I've heard in a while. I like it because it's not really like it's not harmful to anyone. You can't really prove one way or another, but I think that's pretty fun. That'd
be a crazy plot twist,
If that ended up being true, I would be like, "Are you kidding me?" I'd be like, "Are you kidding me?"
And actually touching on ANR for a little bit, since I guess we didn't really talk about the contents of it. I didn't read it yet, but according to Greg, he says it's amazingly written. What do you think, Shah? Have you read it?
I've read it. I think I need to see where it goes. I want to say that I really commend the people who like dedicated their time to like making this. I think it's a cool fan project to say like we're gonna like we don't like the ending. Let's make like a fan fiction, different ending. Like making their own, like actually putting the time into making their own manga, which looks good. They're making the soundtrack as you said, and they're making an anime where they're like animating it. So they're putting in so much work that I think is really cool. I don't know where they're going to go with it. I'm not sure. Like, I don't think anyone knows yet, but I think I'm not sure, like based on the 2 parts I've seen so far, there's a lot of freedom talk going on. So I got to see where the freedom leads, but I'm going to hold out.
The Aaron v. Armin that's being set up is great.
Yeah, they have a battle.
They have the opposing views, and then now they're like just flat out, I'm gonna kill you, basically.
Yeah. So I think
you gotta read it because, and the other thing that's great about it is it goes back to previous conversations, like with Historia, and it picks it up, or with Flock, and it picks it up, and it sort of explains why those things even happened in the first place, and it almost, and this is why I think Isayama wrote it, it makes the canon things before 139 make more sense. It's like, oh, okay, that's why he did that. Oh, that's why he did that. So you'll have to check it out. You got to read it. It's so good.
Yeah.
And it only takes like, a half hour, if that.
Yeah, it's really short so far. I'd be interested to see what you think, Onimaru, because it's definitely a different interpretation of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely curious. At this point, I'm game. Just see kind of what they're doing. Yeah, but
and I think from here, by the way, I would guess the next chapter is going to be a big fight. So it's probably going to take them some time to get that one out. And then the one after that, they'll probably say the goodbyes, wrap it up. Aaron will hold the baby, and then there you go.
Do you think it's going to end with Aaron and the baby as the last manga panel?
If I was in charge, yeah, for sure.
Okay. But you're not in charge because
I'm not in charge.
Because Isayama is in charge.
Yes. So since Isayama wrote it and since he said it was going to be the last panel, then yeah, for sure it will.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that'll be, if it's not the last panel, then I'm going to disprove the Isayama theory. If he doesn't do it, then if it's not the last panel, then I'm going to say he's out. But then if he does, conspiracy theory back on.
It's confirmed. Isayama wrote it, confirmed.
What I've seen, I know a lot of people who are detractors to Attack on Titan Requiem. Do you have any kind of what do you think to the people who aren't a fan? Do you think it's any kind of...
you got your ending. What's your problem? Leave us alone. We're having our fun now. You had your fun. We're having our fun. Like these people who say it's disrespectful to Isayama, shut up. No, it's not.
Yeah, because the one thing I've seen is that I've seen some of the Attack on Titan Requiem. I'm not sure if it's the creators or fans. I'm not sure, but I've seen them kind of say this is the real ending, and you know, they say this is a real ending. Do you think it's just an alternative ending, or do you view it as like this is the real ending?
Well, it's all a matter of perspective. In my head, I choose to disregard the garbage canon ending and embrace this alternate ending. So like I've manipulated my brain to believe that it's the real ending.
Okay.
Which is like, well, if that's what I believe, then it doesn't bother you, you know? The thing is like I react to the ANR chapters when they come out, like I read them. And the amount of hatred that comes from these people, it's not just like, oh, you know, I disagree. It's like just pure hatred. And it's like, why? Because I like something that you don't like? Like, what's your problem?
Yeah, I
and,
mean,
and so I don't quite understand it. And I think that's why, I'm not going to say it, but anyway.
I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, definitely fair game to like either or. I think it's definitely cool that they made it. I think I've seen a lot of disrespect just in the community in general, both towards Isayama and the Attack on Titan Requiem creators. I've seen a lot of disrespect in all regards, and I think you're in a better mindset to just be like, we all just like what we like and kind of respect it and leave it at that.
Yeah. I think the disrespect really just comes in when people try to say or cement that this is the ending that should replace the original ending, or, you know, sort of like where they start harassing the author, stuff like that. When it gets like that, that's when it's like not cool.
Yeah, but Isayama has come out and he's said like, yeah, I'm cool with fan works. So at that point, what are these people crying about? You got nothing to cry about anymore.
I agree with that. I've just seen some people say that this is like they should legitimize this as like the real ending, and like so it's kind of like sometimes I've seen people play both sides where they're like, it's just a fan work, so leave us alone. But then they'll turn around and be like, this is official. So I see, and not everyone is doing that. It's not everyone. I've just seen it in a few cases. So I think that's where.
But even still, it's all just semantics, you know. It's like the canon ending exists; it's not going anywhere. And even if let's just say in this crazy world they were to say, yes, ANR is now the official ending. Well, the canon ending still exists. It's not changed. That's not going in. So it doesn't matter. It's like you're fighting about something very abstract that doesn't even change anything. So it's silly.
Yeah, I think it can be silly. I think there's been a lot of silliness going on. So I think that's definitely a fair take. Definitely respectful to everyone who's making some cool stuff and making cool stuff to talk about and react to. So definitely.
And I would say too, like, I don't particularly care what anyone says about me on the channel or on Twitter or on anything, but there are people who do care. And if I did, like, I would get so depressed and I would probably quit YouTube and all these different things, because just like they're so nasty. And even like I made a video that was critical of ReZero season 2. People just lost their freaking minds. It was boring. I'm sorry, it sucked. But it's just like it's very weird. I don't know if this is an anime exclusive fan base thing or if it's across other mediums, but it's just like it's almost like an anime becomes a religion for somebody, and if you critique it in any way, they get so mad.
Yeah.
I think ReZero though is a divisive one in general. So
well, I love ReZero. I love it. I do. But it was just did either of you watch season 2?
I watched both seasons. Shaw only watched season 1, I think.
Yeah. I have to see season 2.
So what do you think? Season 2 was.
So I really enjoyed season 2. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I enjoyed it. But then I've also heard people didn't enjoy it. So when I actually heard that, I was like, oh, what was wrong with season 2 for people? So I don't know. Maybe it's sort of I got what I wanted out of it. What was your main problem with it?
Well, so I have read the web novel as well.
Okay.
And one of the things the web novel does that happens in the anime is it will go on and on and on and on. Like I referenced this conversation when Betty and Subaru are in the burning mansion. And Subaru's like, Betty, you have to come with me. We have to leave here together. And she's like, no, I don't want to. And they go back and forth saying, yes, you must. No, I won't. Over and over and over and over. And at some point it's like, okay, can we move on? This dialogue is irrelevant. We are just wasting time here. And like, obviously in season 1, episode 18, when Subaru and Rem, I love that episode. but it does drag on a little bit. That's where Rem's like, come on, Subaru, you can do it. He's crying. So it's just like, they just drag on with things, is what I'm saying, which actually is funny because I just sort of did that myself in my explanation.
So is that a difference between the web novel and the adaptation then? Like
No. It happens in the web novel.
Okay.
Which I don't like that. But also the things that happened in season 2 just weren't that exciting. Like season 1 was exciting and it was fun. And season 2 was kind of like, okay, here's the witches, here's the trial, and it's like, oh, all right. Like it felt like when I was watching it every week, it was like work. It was like, okay, well, I have to watch the next episode. I wasn't like excited to watch it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I could see that. I could see the whole witch part really dragging on, and also people kind of got fatigued by how long it took him to kind of get to the next thing and sort of replaying the same events. That's some of the criticisms there.
And also in the bigger picture, it's like, what was the point of all of it? Like that's a problem with ReZero in general. Is like there's a lot of just like, what is the point of this? But like I said, I really like ReZero. I think it's a lot of fun.
What did you think of the really quick the confrontation between him and Amelia, where they finally really shouted at each other and got their feelings across?
Of Subaru and Amelia?
Yeah. It was towards the end of season 2.
I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Amelia.
Are you a Rem stan?
Expected.
Yes, love Rem. She's perfect. How can Subaru want anything else when Rem is there? But, yeah, I mean, this was in the cave, right? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah.
And then they end up kissing each other now. Well, it was kind of like episode 18 when Subaru and Rem went on and on and on. It's like that sort of happened with them. It's kind of it was kind of cringe too, a little bit, to be honest.
Okay,
but,
gotcha.
I don't know. Were you a fan of that?
Oh yeah, I was fine with it. I love characters finally getting things off their chest and yelling at each other and shit. So,
but I think you are also a Rem fan too.
Who?
You?
Me? No.
Yeah.
No.
You are a Rem fan.
Nope.
Don't make me expose you.
No, I have a bunch of Rem figures, and it's just
exactly.
there's just too many. They were gifted to me.
How could you not be a Rem fan? What's your problem?
I don't know, man. I'm just kind of just over the whole Rem thing, and plus, I just like Amelia.
Wow.
She did nothing wrong.
I love that's the best face of disapproval. Like, right, what help this man?
We all have things we enjoy.
Well, my whole thing with Amelia is she got frozen in ice and then she came out. So technically, mentally, she's like a 10-year-old, right? However old she was when she got frozen. So it's kind of weird.
Fair point.
That's a good argument to make in the waifu wars. Be like, she's mentally 10, so gotta give it to Rem.
I could be off a little bit there, but something weird is going on there.
Yeah.
Possibly, but half elves work a little differently. Magic, Yeah.
So it's only 5 years.
Yeah.
That's true. They do live to 100, but then that would make her even younger. In the whatever. I'm not good at math.
Yeah.
Back to your example about anime fan bases and sort of taking things as a religion and taking things as a personal attack. Is there another anime that you can think of where you've kind of experienced that as well?
Well, yeah. What's interesting is, have you heard of Platinum End?
Yeah.
Which one?
Platinum
End.
Oh, Platinum End.
So I made a video called "Stay Away from Platinum End," and did either of you watch that video by chance?
I did not. But
okay,
I agree.
Oh, did you read it?
I read a few chapters before dropping it.
Oh, I watched half of the first episode, so I agree also.
Oh, wow. So it wasn't good?
It was I'll say it wasn't for me. It might turn out to be good, but I was not feeling it at the moment.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it had the nuance of Death Note, so
well, if you don't plan on reading it or watching it, watch my video because I go over the ending. It's worse. It's technically worse than Attack on Titan's ending. The only reason I would say Attack on Titan was worse was because the expectation for Attack on Titan was sky high, and so when it didn't get there, it hurt more. But technically, Platinum End's ending is probably the worst I have ever seen.
Oh,
and people like have lost their shit about it on that video. And it's like, it's the same thing. It's like there's a fan base, and no matter what happens, they will defend it. And I'm like, there's no way you can possibly think this was good. There's no way. And I won't say what it is. You can check it out.
I'm gonna find out now and then watch your video because I am curious. So I'm gonna do my homework on that. But
the anime may change it, and then it won't be so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they're doing a full adaptation too. I'm not sure, but
it's like look at what happened with Promise Neverland.
That's a sore subject.
Did you guys watch that?
I've been a not a day oneer. I've been a long-term Promise Neverland fan, so that's a sore spot. I've repressed that. That's my
what the hell? What the hell was that?
That was just terrible. I think they said, I don't even know what the reason for that was, but that was just not good. That was just not good.
But I did a video on that and nobody disagreed with me there. So I think that's universal. Yeah.
Sometimes I think the niche fans of so you get it from both sides, right? Like Attack on Titan, ReZero, very big fandoms. If they disagree with you, they'll go really hard. But sometimes the niche fandoms for series that aren't as big, they go hard too. So I think you're spitting that it's definitely an anime fan thing, but I think it's found in other nerd groups too, nerd communities, I should say, like video games, big ones, but I guess films recently. But it's definitely something that you're completely spot on with, that people do kind of feel like it's a religion and kind of treat it like that. And, they don't often have the healthiest of discussions where you can agree to disagree.
Well, I do sort of when I talk bad about something, I can get passionate about it. So maybe that inspires other people to get passionately upset. Mm-hmm. So that's okay. But also, I made a video about how much I hated A Silent Voice.
Oh, damn. You're going for the KyoAni fanboys. You're going hard. You're just going after the whole...
hated that movie so much. And I was getting so many negative comments on there. I just eventually privated the video because I was sick of getting the notifications every day. I was like, I don't care anymore. Okay, I don't care. But yeah, that movie sucks. I'm sorry to tell you.
I'm sorry to hear that. That's
you kind of went after a universally loved movie in the anime community. So
I've heard that the manga is way better. That's what people have told me.
I have heard that. I have heard that from people that like the movie. We're like, nah, the manga's still a bit better. Fleshes out some stuff.
It was just a pretentious art piece of crap that just didn't go anywhere. Do either of you like it?
Yeah, we both love it.
Okay, that's okay.
But
you can have no disrespect.
I don't take any disrespect. I think it's more, we've had a lot of discussions for shows I've liked that Onimaru hasn't, vice versa. We like having healthy discussions on these things because we do recognize that it's a movie and not a religion. So we can agree and disagree with you that you don't have to like it and we can love it and we can coexist. And it's
and while we're on the topic, we're all friends at the end. And while we're on the topic, what did you think of Your Name? Did you watch Your Name?
How dare you?
I have to bring this up.
So the video that I made that was about A Silent Voice was called Your Name versus A Silent Voice.
Oh God.
And I love Your Name.
No, I've lost.
Yes,
I've lost. He's the Your Name stan, and I'm the Silent Voice stan. So I've lost.
So the video was one versus the other, and I think I gave Your Name a 10. It's a masterpiece, and I gave A Silent Voice a 1.
Oh my God, that's so much. I can see why you got the reception you got. That's so much.
Maybe I'll make that video public again. But
at least unlist it and let us watch it.
What don't you like about it? What is wrong with it? Just because it's popular? That's the only reason I can guess.
No, he just likes. No, I'm fine with it. He likes Your Name more than A Silent Voice, and I like A Silent Voice more than Your Name. So it's kind of like we're on different teams.
So you don't dislike Your Name?
No.
I will say that I think Weathering with You is better than Your Name.
I agree.
I disagree. I disagree.
Yes.
I disagree.
You got to stay on your toes. You never know.
They're both great, but I think it's just a matter of personal preference.
Yeah.
For those. I think they're both masterpieces. But I Weathering with You, which she is.
Yeah. Yeah. When she's falling from the sky and they're playing the song, I was like.
Yeah, I just liked how much it was a lot more adult, and it kind of reminded me of Attack on Titan, which I just love this idea of are you going to make the selfish choice, or are you going to do something for the world? And in that, he made the selfish choice, like sort of like Aaron did, or 80% did with the rumbling. It's like, screw the rest of the world. Yeah. I'm going to do what makes me happy. And I loved the themes of that.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen a really cool take on it that's like, they're kind of saying that like the environment is always changing. You can't shoulder the responsibilities of the world and sacrifice your happiness for things that are perpetually changing and out of your control. So I agree with that take. I agree.
And also throughout that movie, I think the movie made it a point that the whole world was mistreating them. Like he was out in the rain, he couldn't get a job, and then all of a sudden the world is asking him to make a sacrifice. It's like, no, you don't deserve that. And so, yeah, it's just like stories don't often go in that direction.
Yeah. It's a nice change of pace.
I mean, I got what it was doing. It just didn't resonate with me. I was like,
you got to take the L on this one.
I get what you're doing. You know, I see the theme. Nah.
You got to take.
Your name is definitely more, I would say, like commercial.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Mainstream, whereas Weathering with You is a little bit more artsy, but not to the degree that A Silent Voice is, which is like, oh yes, we're very sophisticated here.
Yeah, you should see Liz and the Bluebird.
Oh god,
that's even more artsy. But
I think is that recent? I think I've heard of this.
Yeah. I don't think you'll like it, but if you don't like it, make a video so I can agree. Thank you.
Oh, okay. You don't like it?
Oh, that.
I get you. I don't like it enough. I think it's okay, but I kind of have
write this down.
Yeah,
I like it.
Liz and the Bluebird. Yeah,
I like it more than Shaw, and you're definitely, if you say something bad about it, you're gonna get a similar reception.
They're not gonna. Oh. Yeah, be warned. If you think the Silent Voice fans go hard, like the Liz stands will be like, everything you said about A Silent Voice, that's how I feel about Liz. So that it won't go well. So I would
check it out. But
thank
you know, to me, it's like I can handle the artsiness, but it's like there comes a point where it just tries too hard.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like we're trying, like when they put the X's over the people's face, it's like and like there were other things about A Silent Voice, like when she jumped off the balcony and he magically caught her. Did either of you read Tokyo Revengers or watch it?
I've seen the first 2 episodes.
I dropped it at like episode 4.
Okay, so that happens in Tokyo Revengers too, where someone jumps off a building and then he catches them. This is not possible. That cannot happen. Okay.
Yeah.
And that happened in A Silent Voice, and that's when I was like, this is bullshit. I know that's kind of a stupid thing.
No, but that's a sense. I mean, I don't agree for A Silent Voice, but it's like the sense of realism is broken. That's what you're saying. Like it doesn't feel realistic, and it's supposed to be a realistic setting.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Because it's not Attack on Titan where you can imagine people doing it. It's like everyday life and like not the most easy to understand. Yeah. No.
Does anybody watch Nagatoro?
No, I didn't see that. I've been slacking on airings. Do you like it?
Greatest anime in history.
Toro. That sounds familiar. Oh, I know that one. Okay.
Don't bully me, senpai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is your favorite anime or manga? Since you said you're more of a manga guy.
Well, that's a tough question. I've read very many. What are your favorites? May I ask?
So my favorite is Steins Gate. I still have to check out your Steins Gate video, but I'm nervous because I'm not sure where it's gonna go. It could go one way or the other.
Okay, let me ask you. So that's your favorite anime?
Yeah.
What did you think of Steins Gate Zero?
I didn't like it as much, but I also played the visual novel for Steins Gate Zero, so I have like all of the thoughts on it as like there were really good parts, but really bad parts too.
Yeah, I thought Steins Gate Zero. I never reviewed it, but I in my head gave it like a 4 out of 10.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. That's pretty fair.
I think that's similar to what I gave it. Maybe I gave it a little bit more than that, but I was very disappointed with it. So.
But what did you give original Steins Gate?
I wouldn't mind another Steins Gate sequel, even though Zero was not great.
Yeah.
I think I gave it like a 7 or something. But I have
bad.
to say, if you watch a video, the main takeaway is that the first 10 episodes are pretty not great.
I've heard that statement before, so I'm not surprised to hear it again.
I'd say first 5.
Like I showed it to Anne, who is in my videos, and I had to tell her with each passing episode, like, no, please, I promise it will get good. It will get good. And it just kept going and going, and she's like, oh my God. And I was like, so I think that's the main problem with it for me.
Yeah, that separates like the fans from like, or I'd say like the mega fans like me and the people who are like, oh yeah, that was pretty okay. Is like, I liked the first 12 episodes and then I loved the second 12 episodes. So like I was on board from the get-go because I thought it was pretty funny, but that's definitely fair. Who is your best girl? Last question before Onimaru shares his favorite.
My best girl from Steins Gate?
Yeah.
There's only one answer.
Well, I actually have a picture with her. Let me pull it up. Hold on.
This suspense is killing me. This could go
in the
either way.
meantime, who's your best girl, Onimaru?
Oh, from Steins Gate? Makise Krisu.
Oh, what a boring choice.
He's the only choice.
Here.
He's Suzuha. Okay, he's okay. He's not bad.
Oh,
He's
then
cool.
you should have really enjoyed Steins Gate Zero. You got a lot of her in that.
She's in.
You got a lot of her in Steins Gate Zero.
Yeah, that's a good choice though. That's fair.
She's a kitty.
Yeah.
And she can fight.
That's true. She's a time traveler. Have you seen Neon Genesis Evangelion?
I read the manga actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, because that's Onimaru's favorite.
Yeah, that's my favorite anime.
That seems that's like a sort of a super popular one. It's an easy choice.
Gotta make the easy choices, you know.
I think Darling in the Franxx is way better.
I sip my water.
I'm just kidding.
That was like, please be serious. Please be serious. Because you have the poster in the background. I think that could be like, I could see that.
Yeah. No, 02 is great. But yeah, Darling in the Franxx fell apart after the first core.
Yeah. That talk about an ending. That was an ending.
Listen, Darling in the Franxx
is
one of those shows that works on paper. Just the execution was all off.
For the whole thing?
I'd say for the last 5 episodes. Last 6.
Yeah, definitely.
Last 6.
Well, you know what I really liked from last season was right here. I don't know if you can tell what that is. That's Spider Girl.
Okay.
One of our best friends is like Spider. He loves the Spider Girl show. That's like his thing.
It's bizarre in some of the later episodes. Like they're so poorly done. I don't know if you saw any of that, but it looks like they're in like a 90s computer. Did you see that at all?
No, I didn't get to check it out. Should I check it out? Is it good besides that?
It's a lot of fun, and it has one of my favorite twists, I think, that I've seen. By
the way, quick question, off topic. Someone mentioned, have you read or watched Tokyo Ghoul since it's sort of in your channel name? Yes, it is. Yeah, and that. So Touka is my turtle. That's her right there. Okay. Touka was named after her. He is a boy, the turtle. So I'm his friend, Touka's friend. So that's the channel. But I did read Tokyo Ghoul. I loved Tokyo Ghoul, and then Tokyo Ghoul happened, and yeah, that was a disappointment. I think everybody would say that.
Wait, right? That's how you felt, right? Onimaru, because I didn't read it yet. I thought you said.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I love Tokyo Ghoul, and I don't talk about Ri. So, but I have heard different opinions. I have heard people tell me, "Oh, what was wrong with Ri? It was great. I liked it," but I did not.
The ideas I liked Heise, and it was basically the first half of Tokyo Ghoul was good, and then it all just fell apart after that. And then it just sort of fell into obscurity from there. So.
I gotta say, maybe for me, it could have been like, I was reading it weekly, so part of that could have taken away the appeal. And a lot of people I spoke to, I think, binged it. So there's always a difference between reading it weekly and binging.
I read it weekly as well, and I would be like, what the hell? Who is this? what is happening here? You know, that's probably you experienced that.
That
too.
was my main issue. I just wasn't, a lot of people popping up and I just wasn't invested. I would kind of forget who was this, what was going on here. And I just wasn't invested.
Yeah, but it really lacked keynote, I would say, honestly, from the second half.
Oh,
It's
that's
like,
what the chat was waiting for.
The people wanted to hear you say Kino.
Oh, really?
So long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Kino King.
You kept waiting for Kaneki to do something keynote, and it just, like, he just didn't. And you're like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the sex chapter was good, though.
I've seen that around without having read it, and it seems pretty good.
Speaking of sex chapter, there was just one in this manga. I don't know if you guys have read it, called Jagan.
Oh, I've heard of that.
JAG, and then like 6 A's, and then the letter N.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I think I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
It's coming to an end. It's almost finished. I would highly recommend it. It's very good.
Got to check that one out.
I'll probably make a video on it at some point, but yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. That would be cool to see, because it sounds like you've read a lot. I'm not sure if you've said it already, because I kind of assumed, well, at first I assumed because of your channel name that Tokyo Ghoul would be your favorite, but do you have another favorite, like one that hasn't let you down with the ending, since that seems to be a common theme?
Yeah, they can never get the endings right. It's so, I think that Dead Man Wonderland I really love, and it has a great ending. Have you guys read that?
Yeah, I read Dead Man.
I did not. I watched the anime and I love the opening, so I've heard that I should read it though.
And then basically, hold on, I'm gonna get this. Basically the same thing. It's like the same stories. Elfen Lied. Have you guys read that?
I haven't. I don't know anyone who's read the Elfen Lied manga.
I watched the anime, was planning to read the manga afterward, did not have the patience, so I skipped to the ending of the manga, and then that was kind of it. I don't remember what happened, but
it's worth it. I used to say this was my favorite, but a lot of time has passed. You know, we grow older, we grow wiser. I need to read it again to say if that's still the case. I really like tragedy, and there's a lot of tragedy in Elfen Lied.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then you should definitely watch the end of Evangelion.
Yeah, I mean, I read the manga, so I sort of know, but
it's not the same.
Okay.
You got to hear the music for it. You got to hear the music for End of Evangelion.
I just, I can't stand, what's his name, Shinji. He's just so annoying. that's you cut into the heart, right? I mean, kind of my heart, but mostly Onimaru's heart. But
yeah,
I can understand.
But that's a common complaint, I've kind of.
But I just want to tell you that the weird thing about Elfen Lied is that there's a cousins are in love with each other in this.
Yeah, that feels very anime.
Yeah, it's a very weird thing, but I'm willing to overlook it.
Yeah.
I think it's common in Japanese culture. That's why.
Yeah, I guess certain parts of Japan, it's okay. Like if you're the mother's son and certain thing.
I think it's legal, so that's why you'll see it like pop up sometimes in manga. I mean, or anime.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, because you made a Berserk video. Are you up to date on Berserk, or did you just start Berserk?
I am, yes.
So do you like Berserk?
I read the whole thing. I did. Yeah, it's really good. My whole big thing about it is that the art is like incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously, and the sort of the backgrounds are more detailed than any other manga I've really seen. So it really allows you to have a very detailed picture.
Yeah.
And it's not my favorite just because it's personal preference, but I see very little to complain about.
Yeah,
but,
that's high praise.
It is. I personally think that they should continue it.
You think like his assistants? Sorry, I think like his assistant team, like the team he had, continuing it.
Yeah. Especially if they have the notes on in the general direction where it was going to go. Because my biggest thing is like, would I recommend it to somebody? Yeah, because it's like, it's sort of a classic and it's great and everything and the art's good, but it's just hard without there being an ending, especially because he died at a point in which it all seems to start to be coming together now. Yeah, it felt like it was building towards the end. And I was speculating that I wonder if it wouldn't have been Guts versus Griffith if maybe Griffith would have been offered redemption in the story and they would have become friends again. Like, we'll never know, or we may not know, but I would have been really interested to see what was going to happen from there. Because a lot of great themes, you know, best friends becoming enemies, like everybody loves that.
Yeah.
So, like, based on the examples we've kind of been bringing up, it seems like, you know, the ending is really important to you for you to be able to fully enjoy a work. Is there any example of like a show where you didn't like the ending, but you still like really enjoyed the journey that you can't really fault it for the ending? Is there any example like that for you?
Well, I would say the one that comes to mind is Gantz. Have you read Gantz?
No, I only watched like an episode once a long time ago.
Oh, well, you can't watch the anime because the anime only adapted like a little bit of it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people complain about the ending. I thought the ending wasn't as bad as the complaints it gets. But that's an example where it's such a fun ride. Like, I still remember that years and years later because it was just so much fun to read. I had such a good time reading it that I didn't mind the fact that the ending wasn't amazing, but I think it was still okay. So I think that a destination can ruin a journey. Like somebody earlier said that, oh, they loved the journey of Attack on Titan. I honestly feel like the ending ruined the journey for me because, you know, you look at everything through that lens now. Like when you see Eren doing all of his Chad moves, it's like all the Kinos doesn't count anymore because you think, okay, well, when he puts on the coat, inside mentally he's crying, you know? So it's like, how can you enjoy that the same?
Yeah, it's like kind of ruined some of the mystery of when it was happening. I like, you know, what everyone says with like Game of Thrones, how it ruins a lot of the early seasons for then. So I understand. I definitely get this sentiment. I was wondering kind of the opposite, and I was wondering what your favorite ending was.
That's a, well, I think Dead Man Wonderland.
Oh yeah, I
think was it. I'm trying to think if there's any of like Future Diary had a pretty good ending. I just rewatched that recently. Death Note had a pretty good ending. The manga I remember being better than the anime. I just watched Death Note recently as well.
Oh, nice.
With Anne, because she hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you guys have any endings that are particularly great?
That's a good question. I'd say I'm a huge, like, I think Cowboy Bebop's ending, kind of a classic ending. I watched it with my fiance and he didn't like it because he thought it was too sad, but I think it was really fitting for the series. And then for manga, my favorite ending is in Haikyuu. That was one of the publishing series that I followed that did not drop the ball on the ending, unlike some of my other favorites. So that one means a lot, and I think that was pretty good.
Yeah, I can't really remember off the top of my head. All I have is obviously the end of Evangelion. That's an ending.
They got the name in it.
Yeah, and recently we've been watching rewatching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and that has a really, really solid ending. So yeah. I'd say those two.
Everybody like raves about it, Full Metal Alchemist, and I read it a few years ago, and I don't know, it just didn't stick with me or impact me much.
That makes sense.
Like, it just sort of happened, and then it was like, okay.
I have seen that from other people because I'm a Full Metal Alchemist fan too, but I've heard some people be like, yeah, it's consistent, but like it didn't really stick with me that much. So I don't think you're alone in those sentiments.
I mean, I think you might be onto something because again, I experienced it, really loved it at the time, but I did not remember a single thing until recently. I had to really rewatch the whole thing. So,
well, what I loved about Elfen Lied's ending, and I guess Dead Man Wonderland too, is it hits you with like an emotional punch at the end, and like there's a bit of tragic element to both of them, and it's sort of like that sticks with me. Is the emotional ending like that. One thing I am following that I love is Vinland Saga.
Vinland Saga, we love Vinland Saga.
It is a masterpiece.
Love Vinland Saga.
Both anime and manga. And I know that there's some dissent. Are you reading it?
Yeah, I'm reading Vinland Saga.
There's some people who are upset about, like, they feel like wokeness is being injected into it with the...
Oh, really?
with the character with what's his name, Thorkel's son, who is pretending to be a girl.
Huh. Okay,
Like,
I didn't get.
Oh, they're like making it woke. I don't really think that's what that's about. Is
Yeah,
injecting wokeness into it. And
yeah, because
so
it's a historical series. I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna do that for a historical series. I've heard some. I don't know how accurate this is because I'm not like a historian, but I've heard that like the Viking time period was a lot more fluid in that sense anyway. But even if that's the case, like I don't think that they're going to go like I don't think they're going to do that. You know, like it's a historical series, so it would probably be planned from that time frame.
Well, the one thing I wanted to say is that it seems like it's going to go on for a couple more years because this final arc where they're finally reached the mainland or whatever, it's like still just getting started. Like the stuff that's going to happen hasn't happened yet. Everything's going like, okay, we're farming. Yeah. Oh, we're talking to the natives. And I'm interested to see where they're going to take it. And it's like the same with Tokyo Revengers. I know you guys don't read that, but that series could have ended already. And then they just added one more like final arc. And right now it's like, what the hell is going on? So yeah, I guess we'll see with Tokyo Revengers. But with Vinland, I'm really interested to see where this is going to go because I know historically Thorfinn ends up leaving.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
It may be that he doesn't leave, but you know, we've got the Thorfinn lookalike who it's like, because they're basically taking that series and melding it in with real history to make it like, oh, it could have happened, like Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer. Yeah. And so it could be that Thorfinn leaves, but it's not Thorfinn, it's his lookalike. And that's he thinks he left. But I don't know. I don't want Thorfinn to fail, you know? Yeah. I want him to win.
Yeah, and I like Thorfinn a lot. I think he's a really good character. So I'm rooting for him either way.
I'm just trying to tune all of this out because I have only watched the anime and just finished the anime, so I don't know anything after that. So
I didn't give you much. Right?
I know. Yeah. That's why I'm like carefully just filtering. Just all I hear is Thorfinn, Thorkel, Thorfinn. That's it.
all these Scandinavian names. Well, is it Scandinavian or is it Scandinavian?
I think so.
I feel bad.
Be wrong, like, actually. You know what? No, I don't know. Chat, let us know.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Vinland Saga. I'm a couple chapters behind, so I have to catch up, but great manga, love it. I have a bunch of physicals hiding in my background, but great series. Okay, so Thorfinn is from Iceland, so that's not accurate. I was not at the right continent, so that's good to know.
That's why we didn't commit to it.
Yeah, I was like, gotta... Yeah. Yeah, it's so cool to hear about a bunch of other series that I don't think you've talked about as much because it sounds like you're kind of a manga expert and I'm not a manga expert, so I'm always taking recommendations. So
yes, definitely all the ones I mentioned.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's any others. I forget. I should have wrote it down. But...
No, you're good. I'm putting you on the spot, but
no, I'm saying throughout my life I should have wrote it down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You can make like a my anime list or my manga list. I like those to keep track. Those are good because then you can put the ratings down. You have your favorites all organized because I'd forget half of the stuff.
My first manga was Pandora Hearts. Have you read that?
Oh, wow. Oh, I've heard so much about Pandora Hearts, but I haven't read it. Did you like it?
I did. And it's really like... You know, it's very Japanese in terms of like, okay, what is happening here? You know, it's like, what are you talking? Like, some of the twists and turns are so ridiculous that, I mean, I won't spoil it, but it's just like, what? And so, yeah, that was a weird series to have be my first, but that had a good ending also.
I've heard good things about that. I've heard it's like either like a masterpiece or like too emotional. So I'm excited to see where I fall because I could go either way.
Yeah, you could start with the anime, but then it has an anime original ending, and then you gotta pick up from the manga.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've heard about it. Never read it, so same boat.
Yeah.
Let me check my phone app really quick to see if there's anything else I can recommend you right off the bat.
Thanks. I appreciate it because I've read stuff like, I mean, I have like Kaguya-sama, Hoseki no Kuni. I don't know if you've checked those series out. of course, like Hunter x Hunter and Gintama.
Well, someone told me to read Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah.
And and do like I did for the Berserk video, because I
Yeah.
don't know if you saw it, but with the Berserk video, I updated my thoughts every 100 chapters.
Oh, cool.
So I may do that with Hunter x Hunter. How many chapters is that? It's a lot, right?
I think less than Berserk. I think it's a bit over 300. Let me see.
Okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, and it's also a weekly. I think there's 390. Yeah, 390. So, and they're shorter than Berserk chapters because it's in Weekly Shonen Jump. So they're smaller chapters.
Oh, so Fire Punch is great. Have you read Fire Punch?
I have read Chainsaw Man, so I'll check out Fire Punch.
Fire Punch is better.
Okay.
I've heard Fire Punch is insane. So. And
it has a really good ending, and it's artsy, but not like pretentious about it.
Okay. That's a good line to draw. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if you've seen the meme clip from Family Guy where they're like drowning and he says like, since we're gonna die, I have a confession. I don't like The Godfather because it insists upon itself. That's like a funny, like, I like that video because it's like, it's so hard to describe sometimes when you're saying like it's too artsy or it's doing too much of something, but just saying it insists upon itself is such a like funny way of like describing it.
That's how I feel about A Silent Voice.
It insists upon itself.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm adding that to my list. I've heard good things about Fire Punch, so I'm excited. Yeah, I mean, I think we've definitely talked about a lot. I don't know if there was anything else we had left to cover. If you had any questions for us, if you had anything else, Onimaru, if you had anything you wanted to bring up.
I'm good. I think we covered a lot. I think the only other things were people just kind of asking in the chat. We already covered FMA and your thoughts on it. You haven't really, it didn't stay with you. And then someone was asking about some other anime. If you've ever experienced Monster, the anime.
Monster?
Yeah,
no, I haven't.
Or the manga, because the manga is really good too.
Should I write that down?
Yeah, definitely. That one, I think you would like. I think you'll like it. It's very grounded, but everyone considers Monster like one of the best manga series. It's not like an action-y series, but it's very like it's kind of like a thriller where it's like.
No, it's because I feel like someone has said this to me before.
Yeah, Monster is really good. Yeah,
I will tell you that 86 is great.
Oh, I like 86. 86 is fun.
Although season 2 is going a little slow right now, but
it's a bit slow, but
it's really well done. Like some anime transcend, anime.
Yeah,
and it's like you could almost see this being like a real show, and like you forget that it's animated. And 86 is one of those.
Yeah.
Vivi was amazing. I made a video about that. I love Vivi. I think it's like one of the best. Did you see that?
Onimaru made a video about it too.
I made a video about it. I watched it. I liked it.
Sounds like you were like, yeah, whatever.
He liked it. That's the funny thing. I was whatever about it. He's like, I really like it. So I might have bullied him into feeling like this, but I think you were really enthusiastic about it.
I mean, 2 seasons have passed, but I really liked it when I watched it. It was really well done because a lot of seasonals don't, they kind of don't finish. They don't conclude, and it was able to do a lot in one season, give you a full story, Yeah. So I thought
don't let her bully you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, defend yourself from my bullying, but I think
she's just bullied me too
fine.
much.
Yeah.
And I actually just started watching this isekai about the assassin.
Oh, isekai. Yeah, I heard of that one. I didn't check that one out yet.
I can't believe how many isekais they're doing.
Yeah, they just keep coming out with them.
It just keeps happening, and it's like they're all just like the same with a little variation.
Yeah, they get kind of old after a bit.
We just started watching. There's an isekai. I guess season 2 is going on right now. Let me see what it's called.
Mushoku Tensei.
Is it Mushoku Tensei?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I really like it so far. I'm on season 1. Do you guys like it?
Yeah, we did a video on it. I'm a bit more mid on it, but Onimaru likes it.
Yeah, I like it.
You're acting so like It's so funny. We did a video like debate, like kind of debating it because I'm like fine on it, but he like really liked it and he was defending it, and now he's acting shy about it. I'm like, defend yourself.
No, I do really like it. It was just interesting. Shaw's perspective on it. She went the whole pod just kind of like, yeah, it was good. I love the ideas. It was great. And then at the end, she's just like 5.
It's like a good solid 5 out of 10.
I give it like an 8.
Oh, okay. Well, it's interesting so far because where I am is he just got taken away from the home, but it's like so far it just seems like it's like very laid back as opposed to like, oh, ReZero is like the universe is ending and blah blah blah. Like right now it's like, oh, I'm living in a home and I'm learning magic. Sort of like it's comfy.
Yeah, very comfy at the beginning. You get that slice of life like upstart to it.
Yeah. Slice of life. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's really interesting how it like kind of executes it. So
yeah, definitely.
Like him learning the magic and stuff.
And I do love Konosuba. I wish it would come back.
Konosuba's fun. That's like what? Who's your favorite from Konosuba?
Probably Megumin because she's so cute.
She's the favorite. I was an Aqua fan, which is kind of unique because she's obnoxious, but like I like that she's obnoxious.
Nah, she's too obnoxious.
I did a video on Konosuba, and I talked about in that video how much I hated Aqua because she screams and cries the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's my girl. That sounds like it. I think it's pretty funny though.
Hanging out, which I guess is okay.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Did you see Odd Taxi yet? Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. I know people like it, right?
Yeah, that's like, I think that's what a lot of people's front runner for anime of the year. So if you get a chance, I recommend it because it's kind of a quirky show. It's kind of comfy at sometimes too, but
I like comfy.
Okay, would you call it comfy or am I like making that up?
It's sort of like comfy, like kind of the vibe, like because it's sort of like a chill vibe, but at the same time it's like a murder mystery. So it's like both at the same time. Yeah,
comfy murder mystery.
Is that a manga as well?
I think they came out with one at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. The manga came out at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely check it out. It's a good time. It's only like a season. It's the same season as Vivi, so like 12 episodes.
I feel like the videos I enjoy making the most are the ones in which I hate something.
Yeah.
because like people will be like, oh, so have you read Poon Poon? Because I hated Poon Poon.
I read the first 60 chapters and I guess I kind of dropped it. Like I'll go back to it, but I was like, I dropped it. So did you think it was just like too depressing or?
Oh my God. Everybody is like suicidal on that thing. I mean, I may read it again to make a video about it. Cause again, time passes, you change, your perspectives change. But at the time I was just like, oh my God. It was just so depressing. And like the ending was just like, I won't say.
Yeah. Yeah,
I haven't read it. I've heard a lot of things, but the consensus I get from people is not that they actually like enjoy the story. The point is like I don't know. I don't want to like assume, but I don't think people actually like enjoy the story as being enjoyable. The point is that it is supposed to kind of be depressing, and in that kind of like lack of hope and despair, they're able to see some sort of like, I don't know, like silver lining or something like that. This comes from someone who hasn't read it, so I don't know anything else.
I think you're right. I've heard that too, and that's why I want to read it again because people keep saying to me or writing in the comments like, "Oh, you should read it," and I'm like, "Okay, well, maybe I'll give it another try."
Yeah. Like as someone more eloquently put in the chat, I get hating Poon Poon. To be honest, it's still incredibly well crafted. So the word is well crafted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could be. I don't remember exactly. I just remember finishing it and just feeling rage.
That would probably make for a good video though, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like so there's an anime that came out. It was called like Blue something. It's about a school.
Blue Period.
Blue Period?
Was that one?
I think that one's out now. Blue. Grand Blue?
Oh, he's talking about before. Okay, Grand Blue or
Blue Exorcist?
No.
That's like every anime that has blue in the title.
It was about a school. I'm telling you, a school goes missing. Shit. can't believe I forgot this. Well, so it's an anime that just came out.
Oh.
A school goes missing.
This past season.
Well, the blue
Blue Lock.
Blue Lock, isn't that the soccer one?
Watch it not have the word blue in it at all.
Yeah, just Blue Lock is the soccer one. Blue period is the art one.
What season are we in now? Fall?
Fall, yeah.
Fall.
So it would have been spring. Hold on,
okay. I'll have to go track it down. All the blue titled. It does sound vaguely familiar.
Blue.
Let me see.
I'm going to type in blue anime spring 2021.
It was about a school that went missing. And they ended up in like this island.
Why does it sound like a death game?
And anyway, the point is that it was so freaking weird.
People are telling me that it's Sunny Boy.
Yes.
Oh, it's Sunny Boy. Oh, that's Sunny Boy.
I've heard a lot about that one.
All right,
actually.
so there's absolutely no blue about it.
It made you feel blue.
Boy, maybe the word boy. I turned into blue.
Close enough.
But yeah, so Sunny Boy. I kind of want to finish it because I kind of want to make a video and shit all over it. But I don't know. I'm still like, I fell asleep during one of the episodes, and it is very artsy, but also it's like, what the hell is going on in this show? It's very weird. If you want to see something weird, that's one to check out.
That's been on my list. It might be artsy fartsy enough for me, or it might insist upon itself. So I'll find out which way.
It's almost like not even artsy, almost as it is like surreal. I think that's a better word for it.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll definitely enjoy the end of Evangelion then.
Yeah.
I know is that he plays with himself over what's her name's body.
Yeah. He's so
that's
fucked up.
That's just weird to me. Like, why does that need to be in there?
That's a good question.
Like, it's very weird.
That's a good question.
See, I'm okay with cousins dating each other, but I'm not okay with playing with yourself. This is where my priorities lie.
That makes sense. That's a good line in the sand to draw.
Yeah. We all got to draw our line in the sand.
That's just such a great quote of like, I'm okay with cousins dating, but the hospital scene is too far.
Yes.
Fair enough, though.
I would like to say it makes sense in context, but I can't even say that.
I was about to explain yourself. That's just directing that.
It doesn't make sense. I mean, it does, but it doesn't.
It does, but it doesn't.
Like it does, but like it's still unnecessary at the end of the day. Yeah. Did you watch Devilman Crybaby by any chance?
I did not. No.
That's a good. Well, I'm glad I didn't bring it up then, because that's one of the endings I've seen that people kind of wanted the Attack on Titan to be kind of similar to, but that one could go either way on terms of artiness or Kino. I'm gonna say Kino because it is kind of Kino. It could go either way because there's a lot of rawness to that show that's pretty cool.
I'll write that one down as well.
Yeah, that one's just on Netflix and it's like 10 episodes.
Devilman Crybaby. Okay. Sounds easy enough.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's one too. That's an interesting one. And I think you'll be able to see what I mean with the ending. Hopefully you like it, but if you do, check it out. But yeah. That's a lot of exchange some good recommendations here and there. It's cool to hear what you thought about a lot of the airings ones because I have to catch up a bit. So
on the what ones?
Oh, sorry, the airings, like all the shows that came out this year.
Oh, yes. You know, it's a lot. It's a lot to keep up with.
Yeah. So that's good to hear. I didn't know anything about Sunny Boy, but it sounds more interesting now that I know that it's just like a school that disappeared. So I'm excited. So I'm checking that one out soon.
It's a weird one.
Yeah. I'll have to see how that plays out. But I don't know. I mean, that's pretty much all I had on my end. I'm not sure if you guys had anything else.
Well, we went. Look at the timer's almost at 2 hours.
I know. I feel so bad.
This is out of control.
Yeah, you asked us
I was
how
told
long.
like 30 minutes, and here I am. Like, I got things to do. I'm
We
just
appreciate
kidding.
you. Yeah, we appreciate you making time for us. You mentioned
Yes.
before that you're like, you know, you're really, I think you kind of said that you're like confident in your content, and I think you have every right to be. I think you're a great reactor, and I love hearing your opinions on things, even when they directly contradict my own. So I appreciate you putting yourself out there and, you know, being such a Kino Chad. Like, that's just kind of what you're doing.
Thank you. And I think let's exchange compliments. I think your channel's great.
Oh,
And
thank you.
you've only been around since April, you said, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
you're already
random.
almost at 1,000. So that's really great. And I feel like there's not a whole lot of great people doing anime stuff. So we are the great people.
Thank you. That's high praise. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Yeah. I also want to address really quickly in the chat that I regret saying it's unnecessary towards the end of Evangelion thing in the scene. Like, I get the artistic intent behind it. I didn't mean to say unnecessary, but I just feel like for most people it comes off that way. So yeah.
Yeah. We have to hit you with one recommendation for the road because it is on brand. If you have not already seen it, we would recommend Kino's Journey, the original one, because it has Kino in the title and it's a pretty good show. I think you'd like it.
Kino's Journey?
Yeah, it's from like 2003. They made a newer one, but it's not as good. But Kino's Journey 2003, I feel like you know, it's just kind of on brand, and I think you'd enjoy it. Got to do it.
All right, I wrote it down.
Thank you.
Thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah, it's a really good show. I really like it, even beyond the funny title. So I wholeheartedly recommend it. But yeah, thanks for coming on. It was so cool to talk to you. It was so great to have you. We'd love to have you back anytime you want to come on. We do a running series called Hot Takes Battle Royale, where we have everyone bring their hot takes and they kind of fight each other. And I think you could kind of go for the crown. Like you might
think you'd be good at it. Yeah.
You would be great at it. And it's an art form.
Do you assign topics beforehand?
We haven't yet. We normally just did kind of broad anime topics.
Yeah, we've done broad, but I've played around with the idea of narrowing it down to topics. Not sure how that would work. But for now, we still do kind of like, you just bring in like 5 of your hottest takes, like something like that.
Yeah. And
my hot take, Silent Voice is a pile of shit.
That would be the one. That would be the one. You might win with that. And we've had some we've had some challengers. So I think you could go for the crown though. So we'd love to have you on again in the future in any capacity, but I think you'd also do great with our hot takes battle. So
that sounds
great. Here's the thing to the hot takes thing. If you do come on, you'd have to be able to explain yourself. So for whatever hot take, in order for it to be valid, you got to be able to explain it. And that's
which you can do. I think you can do a good job with that. So
yeah, because a lot of people like to throw down hot takes and just kind of just leave it, and not give any explanation.
Do they not actually mean?
I didn't mean in our the ones we've done. I meant in general, kind of like people usually will say a hot
take.
Yeah. People just troll and say a hot take. But in like the one we do, we require an explanation for your hot take. So.
Okay. Yeah. No, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
And I would like to say that your wall needs to be covered. You have to, this is, I don't know if anyone knows. Blood. She's there.
Who is there?
Shiro from Dead Man Wonderland.
Oh, yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
She's hiding in there. But I see, Shaw, that you have like a little thing on the ground. You got to hang that up.
Yeah, it fell. That's why it's there. But I'll, next time I'll roll up. I'll get the wall taken care of.
Yeah, get to the anime conventions, buy some art.
Yeah.
And then
roll up.
Yeah, I gotta work on it.
Yeah, we have to get on your level. So I'm gonna try and live up to greatness with my wall and not just a ping pong table.
I actually have a huge Kill la Kill wall scroll downstairs, so I should just bring that up.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's it on our end. We had a great time. But before we go, can we get a tatake for the road?
Oh, yeah. Do I have to say it? Tatake?
We have to all do it.
Okay.
Oh, wait, we're all doing it?
We have to do it.
Tatake.
Tatake.
For the Eldian people. For the future of Eldia. 100%. We want 100% genocide. Not 80. 100. Tatake.
See, that's Slosh right there. You got it. You got it covered.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. So thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for speaking with us. And thanks for, having such great opinions and sharing it with everyone with such passion. So we appreciate everything and can't wait to see what else you do.
All right. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks. And to everyone, thank you for tuning in. Thank you all for commenting. And thanks for, thank you all for asking about anime and manga recommendations. So thank you guys for all tuning in, and we will catch you in the next one.
Yep. Let us know what you think in the comments, because after all, what do we know? We're just weebs.